Morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. And those of you celebrating Pride Month, happy Pride Month. I have no problem with Pride Month. It's I have questions for parts of that community. Oh, I didn't change this. Hang on a second. Let me fix this. Wrong thumbnail. Sorry, guys. Let's get the right thumbnail up there. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. It's Hump Day. There we go. Let's fix that. Hope you're having a good morning so far. I am. Got some work done when I got home. And I'm almost here on time today. So there you go. Anyway, in honor of Pride Month, I'm going to talk about various things regarding the community. A community which I do not belong. I do have an aunt and a cousin and probably more family members that are part of that community, but there's certain parts of it though that are, well, I have questions about. And I'll try to get into that today a little bit without being too offensive. But like I said, I have questions. And you know what's interesting? There's questions that certain people can't answer. Volume's a bit low again. I'm trying. Is it because I have the music too high? Maybe that's it. Let's try this. Turn the music down. Does that help? I know I'm there. I'm here. I don't know what it is. I really need to figure this out. Check 1, 2. There we go. Maybe a little better. Anyway, that's the show about today. So we'll get into it. And much more if I have time. Johnny, play the intro. Please. Yeah, now.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Dog Night.
All right, there we go. Why is it doing that? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Night channel. Guys, we got to be careful what we put in the chat today, okay? And I was going to hide that one. Just be careful. I've been kicked off of here once, and I don't want to be kicked off again. And so anyway, it's, did I start the show yet? Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Night channel. It is the 1st of June, 2021. which is Pride Month for the, I guess, for the LGBTQ community. Some because of who they love, and some because they don't quite love themselves, or I don't know what that means. Oh gosh, they have this stupid. This is like this again. Let me check this. Hang on a second. Where's my camera? Where's the camera on here? It's the video capture device. Okay, and we're gonna do a little. Oh no! I didn't mean to do that. That's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to disappear. All right, I wanted to configure my face because it's just it's this thing resets and it just makes me look too, well, I don't know what the words is. Maybe too. Okay, well, that's a little better. I don't know. Anyway, hi, how are you? It's Pride Month, and we have some Pride Month topics, I guess. Whoa, why'd I do that there? And so we're going to just go through some articles and things that are happening that you go, some of them just make you go, And you go, oh, by the way, it is Pandermonium Month too, because, a whole bunch of companies around the world, or at least around, especially the United States, are going to discover rainbows. They're going to say, oh, I like this rainbow theme. And they're going to add rainbow themes to their logos. They're going to have rainbow themes in their commercials. And they're going to have people out there, I wouldn't say bumping uglies, but, they're going to have just, they're going to have all kinds of people shown in multiple types of relationships, which is cool. I don't care. I think it's great when people, love each other and whatnot. I do have questions about the trends, though, in the LGBT community. I know that there's a lot of people in the LGBTQ community who are worried about some of the trends, mainly with the sudden proliferation of the T's in the community, because there's a sudden proliferation that doesn't seem natural, which I know that some of you say a lot of it doesn't seem natural, but it has that because suddenly there's this proliferation of people who believe there's something else. There's who want to be called different names and and pronouns and all that shit, and the number of people doing it now, it makes it come out to seem as much a social contagion as or just a fad, a trend, as opposed to what's really happening. So I guess I don't want to disparage people. That's not my purpose today. But I also think that there needs to be a lot more research into what's happening, because a lot of it's not healthy for certain people. And I don't believe it's healthy kids, but I don't be like, oh, for the children, but it is. I worry. I think there's going to be a huge amount of mental illness of counseling for people who are going in and out of this world, and I have great concerns, and especially knowing that I have a grandchild growing up in this era. Now, granted, maybe. Maybe this trend will be over by the time that my grandchildren, because I'm sure I'll have more coming at some time, get to an age where this becomes an issue. But it's certainly affecting a lot of kids now, and there's a lot of people out there pushing this, and we don't even have a whole lot of data or science behind some of the things they're doing to these kids. So it's really, really concerning. So most of the show today, at least, is going to be stories relating to that. And before I do that, of course, I want to say good morning to our friends in the chat. So today, first person in the chat today is our friend Tyre Alexander, who beat the rest of the crowd. Good morning to you, sir. Also, good morning to Rotten Corpse, Tyler F., Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate, Aaron Meredith, Foxmeyer Gribited, a.k.a. FX, in my house. Good morning also to Nomad.
Hammer time.
Also, good morning to Chicago Mike, Attack Alpaca, Simon Wolfwood. Damn it, I did it again. Good morning, Boneheaded Dumbass. Now that's a new name I've not seen before. Welcome. Or if you've been here before, great. I'm glad you're here. Good morning also to Richo, my friend from down under. Hello, CNN Sucks, the most redundant name on the internet. Selected boys in the house. What the hell?
Yeah,
There we go.
boy.
And is that everybody so far? I got to scroll down a little bit here. Is it? That might be. I don't know. I'm sure people are slowly rolling in. I welcome if you get here. Rockhopper's in the house, another friend from down under. GDSOB, Jesse Leon, Lord Stanhope. The crowd is popping in. Nice to see you. While you're thinking about it, or while you hear me talking, some point during the show, I'd like you to hit the like button if you like what we do. Now, most of you already know you like what we do, so there's no reason for you just not to hit it now while you're thinking about it. Like button, somewhere down like there. I don't know, somewhere like there. Hit that little thumbs up thing and share the stream if you haven't done so already. I just tweeted it out and put it on several of my social media places, which are everywhere I am. It's all at PDogKnight. This one right here. I'm at PDogKnight. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Yes That Marty, and obviously here on PDogKnight. I'm PDogKnight on most video platforms, and all my backups are on Odyssey. I think the next time I'm going to figure out how Odyssey works as far as live streaming, and the next time I get a chance, I'm going to figure out how to multi-stream to Odyssey, because I think that seems to be the most stable platform. I think Rumble's probably pretty stable too. I'll learn that one too. I just got to figure out how to do the outputs so that I have better reception when I do it on this platform. So anyway, I'm glad you're all here. Let's get into the show. Now, the first story I was going to do is missing. Oh, here we go. Let's start with the pandering, though, because I think, now, granted, this is the mayor of San Francisco, and so pandering to the LGBTQ community is not unusual. That's, there's a large population of LGBTQ people in San Francisco, and that's fine. And I think you should accommodate the people that are in your constituency. But the mayor of San Francisco did something unusual. Good morning, Jedi Ghost Bear. Good morning, sir. The mayor of San Francisco decided, oh shoot, hang on, let's fix that. There we go. The mayor of San Francisco decided that she's announcing. Now, wait, before I even get to this, think about San Francisco a little bit. I know some of you would rather not, but think about San Francisco. One of the, if you've been to San Francisco lately, there's a homelessness problem. There's that, and then there's a crime problem because the California laws on like stealing things are very lax, and if you don't, basically they don't. If you steal something less than $900, they're not going to prosecute. I know that our first day in San Francisco a couple of years ago, we were victims of crime. Our car got broken into. Like, we were there an hour and a car got broken into. So San Francisco has a lot of problems, right? And the problems aren't just narrowed down to a single community. It's a citywide problem. And so you'd think that the mayor of San Francisco would want to try to do as big a job as fixing problems in San Francisco as the mayor can. But this particular story had people scratching their heads. San Francisco mayor announces a 5-year plan to end homelessness for people with a specific gender identity, and got ripped to shreds all over the internet. San Francisco Mayor London Breed announced a plan Tuesday to end transgender homelessness in the city by 2027. The plan would direct $6.5 million in the proposed budget to combat homelessness specifically for people who identify as transgender, according to the Bay Area Reporter, an LGBTQ news outlet. She said, "Today I announced my 5-year plan to end transgender homelessness in San Francisco, which includes investing in programs that support and create real long-term change in the lives of transgender people." Now, that's very specific. There's plenty of LGBT people who are homeless. There are plenty of straight people who are homeless. There are plenty of elderly people who are homeless. There are plenty of women who are homeless. But she decided that it's important to end just T, the T of homelessness. $6.5 million in the budget to end transgender homelessness by 2027. The plan focuses on getting the transgender homeless population housed quickly, quote, making any instance of homelessness brief and rare, according to the mayor's office, end quote. The reporter added. The 2021 survey estimated there are roughly 320 transgender homeless people in San Francisco. Now, let me grab out my calculator here. Let me get my calculator. It says, let's see, 6.5. Oops, we meant clear. 65000 divided by 320. So that's about $20,312 per transgender homeless person. Now, now that's compared to 2,800 homeless women and nearly 8,000 total homeless people in the city, which I probably guess that'd be underestimating. Now, Twitter users were quick to criticize the mayor's plan for prioritizing certain homeless people based on their gender identity. What happens if someone is homeless and not transgender? Self-described moderate Michelle Tandler asked. Former UFC fighter Jackie Shields wondered, if I'm homeless and say I'm transgender, I get a home, but not otherwise? That makes perfect sense. Another Twitter slam Breed's plan is divisive, writing, "We speak about how division is bad for this country, and yet here's a mayor dividing the homeless. Does that make any sense? Are we going to differentiate addicts based on race, religion, eating habits, etc.?" So now, and here's the thing. So they're going to use $6.5 billion to combat transgender homelessness, right? How do they decide if someone's transgender? Can you just say you're transgender? Is that all you got to do? I'm wondering. I'm curious. So this is a story about how people reacted to it. And I also have if you're not familiar with Twitchy, which is basically a website that makes fun of people's tweets from a conservative perspective. Again, they also put this story out here. Some people said, so every homeless person must now say they're trans to get help? How woke of you? Right? Let's see, there's Michelle Tandler again. There are a lot of people responding to this. But I want to see how this Bay Area Reporter, which is an LGBTQ publication, writes about it. So Breed announces $6.5 million budget plan to end trans homelessness in San Francisco by 2027. this is the basics. Mayor London announced $6.5 billion $1 million plan. According to the news release from her office, the plan to end trans homelessness will be a collaborative effort between the Mayor's Office on Housing and Community Development, the Department of Homelessness and Supportive Housing, the Department of Public Health, the Office of Transgender Initiatives. So they have an Office of Transgender Initiatives in San Francisco, and nonprofit organizations serving transgender and gender nonconforming people experiencing homelessness or at risk of homelessness. Okay, the proposal makes San Francisco the first city in the U.S. to commit ending homelessness for TGNC people. What? Oh, transgender nonconforming people. The mayor's office stated the Board of Supervisors amends and approves the mayor's budget proposal before approving the city's 2-year budget in July 1st. The mayor's proposed 2-year budget includes the following: to begin implementation of the plan to end trans homelessness, at least 150 long-term housing subsidies through the city's flexible housing subsidy pool program, and acquisition and operations for a new permanent supportive housing site for transgender, nonconforming, and LGBTQ plus youth. They left out the T. That's interesting. They separate them. Now that's interesting. And I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that there's kind of becoming a minor rift between the L and the T's in the community, more so than the rest. But there's and I understand it, because I know there's a lot of people who are lesbians, or I've been interacting with some, and I have a family member who also is very, very, very skeptical of the trans community, because they have legitimate concerns about things related to actual sex, physiological sex, when it comes to the trans community. Anyway, the mayor, the plan also calls for $6 million over 2 years dedicated to fund short-term rental subsidies, flexible financial assistance, and support to build capacity among nonprofit providers serving transgender nonconforming residents, and $500,000 to fund behavioral health services for transgender individuals experiencing homelessness or risk homelessness, building on the $500,000 investment already supporting trans youth experiencing homelessness, according to the release. It continues: transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming, so people who have self-identify as whatever they self-identify as. We're gonna do something special for people who have self-identification issues. San Franciscans are 18 times more likely to experience homelessness compared to the general population. And we know that the rates are even higher for our minority trans community. So, of course, Black trans women's most affected, right? States breed with one of the largest transgender populations in the country. We not only must ensure that all San Franciscans have access to housing and essential resources. Well, not all, because you're focusing on 320 people and not the rest of the 8,000 people who are homeless in San Francisco. That's just an estimate. I know there's more than that. But you're what? What? Shirley McSpadden, a bi woman who's executive director of DHSH, whatever that is, stated the proposed investments are critical to advancing the city's equity strategies. There's that word equity. You know, I laugh because I always tell you, when you see the word equity, run. Because equity just means basically communism. Sorry. It just does. Everyone gets the same. Everyone's the same. Everyone gets the same from the government, which is usually not very much. To improve services for our most vulnerable community members. Trans leaders applauded the proposal, even as some of them are at odds with Breed over the controversy of San Francisco's pride policy of banning police officers from marching in uniform in the pride parade. Oh, yeah, she got mad. She said, because they were the pride, whatever committee that does this for San Francisco Pride was going to exclude uniformed officers who are LGBTQ. And the mayor said, you know what? Nah. If you're not going to allow them, then I'm not coming. I'm not going to be there. After LGBTQ first responders on May 23rd said they would skip the parade due to the ban, Breed and Gay District 6 supervisor, that's quite the description of a person. Gay District 6 supervisor Matt Dorsey said they would not march in the June 26th parade if the San Francisco Pride officials did not reverse their decision. That led leaders of the Transgender district stating that they would not attend Breed's June 2nd Pride flag-raising ceremony at City Hall, as the BAR's political notes May 30th column noted. Well, if you don't come to mine, I'm not coming to yours. The Castro LGBTQ cultural district has also said it will skip the flag. So that's beyond that. But it's fascinating that she decided that she's going to just for trans people. I wonder how, but all you have to do is don't you only have to self-identify as a trans person to be a trans person? I mean, you don't even have to do anything. I don't think. Anyway, if you would like to, I opened, where did I do this? I thought I had this open. Hang on a second. In the tabs today, I'm just because some people might be interested, I am going to leave the Twitter trending topic of the day, which is, what happened to it? It was there. Oh, I see. I don't have any trending. Happy Pride Month is trending today, so I'll leave that in the tabs today if you're interested. I found some interesting things in that though. One is a few people who are, well, let's just say they're not thrilled. They're not thrilled, and now this is fascinating. This has got to be someone. Remember, I said there's a little bit of a rift between the L and the T in the LGBT community. Well, this is interesting. This banner here saying no pride in sexualizing children, usurping women's rights, and betraying the LGBT community. Fascinating. Also, let's see. This skipped. Okay, happy Pride Month to the #1 best-selling LGBTQ children's author and women's studies scholar, Matt Walsh. We can't wait to celebrate by watching What is a Woman? Yeah, the premiere of the Matt Walsh's movie, What is a Woman, is this evening. And that's the movie where he goes out and talks to people about his... this is the Happy Pride Month hashtag or whatever, which is constantly changing. If you want to figure that out, Stephen Crowder, Happy Pride Month, or as I like to call it, corporate cash grab month, where companies push fake virtue signaling just to make money off LGBTQIAAP people. Well, true, except what's funny about that, all these companies that pander to. Market to, I don't care what you want to call it. Granted, gay people and queer people and bi people, trans people buy things. So I don't have a problem with that, I guess. But it's just funny that how they, they'll add rainbows to their logos and to their commercials and everything in the United States and Canada and the Western world. But, do you ever see those things in, say, Saudi Arabia or Qatar or any of the Middle Eastern countries other than Israel? Or China, or certain countries in Africa? Oh, no. there'll be no rainbows in our logos in these countries because they look down on that. Ebony Williams, how you doing? Nice to see you. Yeah, they don't. Wait, Pete, just for showing that tweet, you will get banned. Oh, yeah, maybe, I don't know. So anyway, yeah, Matt Walsh's movie's coming out tonight. Now, if you haven't seen any of the clips, so for example, here, I don't know how even to watch the movie. I was going to try and watch it, but I think it's under a paywall at the Daily Wire. But he's putting out his movie, What is a Woman, premieres tonight. And it's pronounced guitar, not cutter. Damn Americans. Okay. Tomato, cutter, gutter, whatever. Anyway, so Matt Walsh's movie's coming out. Here's a nice video to share for Pride Month. I spoke to an African tribe about transgenderism. The left claims that traditional cultures have fluid notions of gender. That's not exactly what I found. More in the full film, What is a Woman? So I guess it's okay to show this clip. I don't know. Here's the clip. It's interesting.
What if a man decides that his gender identity is woman?
A woman has its own duty, and a man has its own duty, and a lady cannot do the duty of a man, and a man cannot do a duty of a woman.
Can a man become a woman?
No.
No?
No.
What about a transgender?
Eh?
Transgender?
No.
No?
It will look like if you want to become a lady but you're a man, you have something wrong in
Something
your mind.
wrong.
Something wrong in your family, something wrong in you.
What about if someone was non-binary?
Come again?
Non-binary? Do you know, like someone is
You're not a woman, you're not a man.
yeah, someone is neither. There's something else. Is that?
Apparently, this is an elder he's asking the questions to.
He's saying we have never seen things like those. For a man, he has a penis. For a woman, he has a vagina. So we know this is a lady, this is a man.
What if it's a woman with a penis?
Both?
Okay, so anyway, you get the idea. But now, the interesting thing about that, yes, because a lot of people like to bring up that there are certain cultures who have more than one gender, for example. And so it's interesting because he's going to a culture that's a little bit, I would say primitive, just not as advanced as other cultures, right? Talking to these people, right? But someone else would tell you, well, the indigenous tribes in Canada had a third gender called Two-Spirit, right? And I would have to say that a lot of these cultures that they claim that have and had the third gender or multiple genders, whatever, they would say that these people that Matt came to talk to were primitive and just aren't advanced and don't know of, other parts of the world, right? But wouldn't those say indigenous tribes of Canada that said there's a two-spirit, don't you think they also may have been primitive tribes? I mean, they talk about how cultures, that didn't necessarily know science, and maybe you just had a personality that was different, Anyway, I'm going to try to watch the film tonight, maybe report on that. But there's now some of the replies to even him posting this, which he's taking a lot of heat. A lot of people were pissed off about this, which I understand. Some people have very strong feelings about what is and isn't, right? So he says, yes. Someone says, yes, one traditional culture from one continent, definitely indicative of all traditional cultures from all continents. Great reporting, Matthew. No notes whatsoever. So he asks, which part of Africa could I have gone to find gender fluidity? So to which someone here puts African spiritual beliefs in intersexual deities and sex gender transformation among their followers have been documented among Akan, Ambo, Kwamaya, Bobo, Chokwe, Dahomens of Benin, Bambara, Etik, Handa, Humbe, Hunde, Igbo. Really? I'm going to have to ask my family about Igbo. I'm not buying it. Jokun, Kimbundo. Of course, these are deities, right? Deities, not humans. Lulua, Nuba, and so on and so forth. Several other ones. Transgender in religious ceremony is still reported in the 20th century in West Africa, and cross-dressing is a feature of modern Brazilian and Haitian ceremonies derived from West African religions. Cross-dressing is not transgender, though. Oh my God. And are you actually citing a Medium blog post as an authority? LOL, okay. You asked for which tribe you could have gone to. I provided. Did you interview any of those tribes, or just one you already knew agreed with your position? Well, I don't know. Did he continue answering this? I don't know. People have been transgender for centuries, someone says. Have they? Okay, I'm curious. Somebody has some documentation on that, and they might. I don't know. I'm just curious to see it. I'm not asking. It's important to let them speak for themselves. Wrong answer only. Somebody too, I was reading someone having this argument, what is a woman? And it's interesting, and maybe you'll see it in this film, but I've never had anyone be able to answer that question without using the word woman, or if they do, they imply woman. That someone someone answered the other day, I was reading on Twitter, and she said, a person with feminine characteristics who identifies as one, very carefully trying not to say woman in the definition. But that's either way, who identifies as one identifies as one what? Oh, well, a woman, because she was trying very hard not to use the woman in the definition. But it's like, I've never been able to see one identify it other than as a feeling, not any empirical reason to call someone a woman, where, we've always used the a provable, an objective definition of what that is. We've always said adult human female, right? But oh, here's one. What is woman? A simple question has generated a lot of controversy, but instead of listening to men mansplaining womanhood, I think we should listen to the most vulnerable and marginalized women in this debate. Let's allow them to speak for themselves. Okay, interesting. Let's click there. I do want to go back to this. Oh, hang on. This is not serious. This can't be serious. This can't be serious. It's important. Let them. Okay, wrong answers only. Okay, let's try this. I'm taking a chance. I'm taking a chance today. I doubt if this will be monetized, but that's okay as long as I don't kicked off here. But I'm just curious of what this answer is in this video. So let's find out. Okay, here we go. Let them speak for themselves. Let's click that, and I'll just put it on the screen. Am I gonna be in trouble here? Okay, let's see what this one says. Let them speak for themselves. Okay, let's find out what this is. Come on.
Brain and what's in your heart. So So being a woman is what's in your brain
Is it?
and what's in your heart, girl.
Okay, this is
You know what I mean? And your spirit. And your motherfucking spirit, bitch.
okay. Hang on, I gotta be careful. I don't know what's in the rest of this video, so I should probably be careful there. And I don't want to have that music in there anyway, because that might get me in trouble too. Anyway, what does a woman want? Wrong answers only is a short doc. Release date to be announced. Subscribe to Skirt Go Spinny on YouTube to keep updated. So at least it's it's something put on YouTube apparently. I'm just saying. The idea, though, is that it's always the answer always seems to be a woman is someone who feels like they're a woman, who identifies as a woman. Well, that's a circular argument. That's a circular definition that doesn't tell you anything. Anyway, let's move on. I just have a couple more of these. This is interesting. In the Philippines, trending today, or Happy Pride Month, fellow sins against the Holy Spirit. So LGBTQI trending 18 in the Philippines, sins against the Holy Spirit. Or no, these two are trending right next to each other in the Philippines. Sins against the Holy Spirit and LGBTQI. I just found that humorous. And so does this person here, who is also of the community, I believe. You know, the other thing I noticed too, and I got to be here, let me make sure, I got to look first, because don't want anything coming up here that could get me in trouble. So let me scroll through this real quick. Really weird is that when I was scrolling through this Happy Pride Month to find things to talk about today, there's an inordinate, I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to take the chance. There's an inordinate amount of anime. I don't know why. I don't know. I have no idea. Did I already do this? I already have this one. How did I get this one twice? I don't need this one again. Hang on. Let's close that. But true to form, the White House wants to wish everybody a happy Pride Month. And this is all they put here. Happy Pride Month from the Biden-Harris administration, with the little rainbow pride thing and the seal back there kind of hidden in the background. And, you know, they'll be lighting up the White House in rainbow colors today, as they usually do. Thank you, President Biden. This is so much more of a relieving statement than the previous administration, that's for sure. Is it? Because I'm pretty sure they did the same thing last year. Or when Trump was in office. I can't remember if he did or not. Lean on Congress to pass the Equality Act. Well, what does that mean? I'd like to know what's in that act first. And then tune in to a briefing by Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre featuring BTS. So they're going to have the K-pop guys out there for Pride Month, which they're not even gay, are they? I mean, I'm not going there. Never mind. Anyway, and then also on the Libs of TikTok, I'm not going to go through this thread, but here's a thread from Libs of TikTok. Apparently, this is a thread of all the drag shows for kids that have been going on around the country. Now, this is another one that I'm really, really, really don't understand. So this one in particular happened in Minnesota, up in Duluth. It says a gay nightclub in Minnesota held a drag show for children earlier this month. One of the performers said in an interview, "I want to give the kids an opportunity to see what drag queen king life is like on a day-to-day basis." Why? Now, there's something too about drag shows that bother me. Not bother me, because actually drag shows are very entertaining for adult entertainment, right? They're interesting. It's men who dress in a really hypersexualized versions of women, right? However, I've always wondered how this plays in the feminist communities, because feminists are what a lot of now there's a rift as far as how various feminists see the whole trans part of the LGBT community. There are the feminists who are saying that this is men invading women's spaces, which it is. I mean, now whether or not you want to call them men, males, let's say it's males invading female spaces, right? And females should be able to have single sex stages, right? No drag shows are not entertaining. No, I look, GD. When I was young and my future wife and I, we went to a place that had a drag show in it. And it actually was entertaining. But it's definitely not for kids. And when I see these drag shows they do for kids, which is absolutely not a form of entertainment made for kids. And when I see like this particular one, which had, let's knock out the music here. Like for example, this one here, there are parents who bring their kids to this and they're holding up dollars for the drag queen. Are you teaching kids to go to strip clubs? Are you I'm just curious. They brought in the porn star story hour at the library. I'm just trying to understand. Why this is entertainment for children. And look, if you scroll, she, the Libs of TikTok lady who does this, has dozens and dozens of examples of these drag shows for kids, or at schools and stuff. And some of the schools said they didn't even know they were supposed to be there. Are drag queen story hours, super hyper costumes of. If I was a feminist, I'd be kind of pissed off at the stereotypes that the drag queens are making of women. I don't get it. And some are speaking out on it. But why are you doing drag shows for children? This is, it's the epitome of a form of narcissism and, I don't know, they call it AGP autogynephilia, where men get a thrill out of dressing up as the opposite sex or whatever. I just don't understand. I'm going to bring some guests on to talk about this at some point. There's, but this one, that just, I don't get it at all. So anyway, let's get into another story regarding this. And this comes out in the first day from the Daily Caller, an article that I found interesting this morning, talking about the rise in LGBT identification seems to be driven by people who are actually straight. The title, Wrap It Up, Ticket LGBT Identification, is driven by people who are actually straight, according to a report. Let's see, and I'll link a copy of the report too. A new report on the society-wide increase. Now, is this a shocker to any of you, by the way? Does this shock you at all? This title, this headline? Considering the mass identification of kids, millennials, or not millennials, excuse me, Gen Zs, who are now identifying as LGBTQ. Is it, well, I know some people don't like the term transgender, but because to be trans now, you don't have to be actually trans. You can just say you're non-binary. Anything that you can be but cis white male, which is frowned upon. And so is it just to have, again, I talk about attention getting behavior. A new report on the society-wide increase in LGBT identification found that the number of people who call themselves something other than straight is increasing faster than actual non-straight sexual behavior. The number of men and women under 30 who reported exclusively heterosexual partners dropped from 96% in the 90s to 92% in 2021, according to the new report from the Center for the Study of Partisanship and Ideology. However, most surveys indicate that the number of Americans under 30 who identify as LGBT is around 20%. Whereas in 2008, attitudes and behavior were similar. By 2021, LGBT identification was running twice the rate of LGBT sexual behavior, the report found. The CSPI report compiles data from numerous societal surveys between the 90s and 2021, including the General Social Survey, Pew surveys, Fire Research, Qualtrics surveys, and UK government data. The surge in LGBT identification is concentrated in particular socio-political groups, the report said. Shocker. The most liberal survey respondents moved from about 10 to 15% non-heterosexual in 2016 to 33% LGBT by 2021, according to the report, a far bigger shift than other groups. LGBT identification was also disproportionately associated with anxiety and depression in young people, and the group which grew the most among the LGBT community were bisexuals, a significant majority of whom were women. University students majoring in social sciences and humanities were found to be about 10 points more LGBT than those studying STEM. 52% of students taking highly political majors, such as race or gender studies, identify as LGBT. According to this report, various surveys indicate. Now, I'm curious too. Hi, Jeffrey Russell Jr., by the way. Just timing. Septus Wolf, also good morning. And when I hear that, I wonder if in certain majors there is a social advantage or at least social reward for identifying other than straight heterosexual. I see this as much a social contagion as much as something that's actually happening. And that's why I get concerned, especially in the T part of this, because it's happening younger and younger. There's young kids who are being rewarded for being trans, right? By teachers. We've seen that in the videos of teachers saying that, oh, it's like, our magic closet where you come in and you come out as Superman or whatever they call it, Now, according to the report, various surveys indicate that gender nonconformity, such as identifying as transgender or non-binary, is actually on the decline after reaching a peak in recent years. Now, that's interesting. I did not know that. I wonder why it already peaked, huh? I did not know that. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. And being the first sponsor, you are the new Street Class Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir, for sponsoring the show. Here, let me, I have music today. I don't remember which music it is. Oh, I have sexy music today, sexy R&B. So it's a little bit of sexy time music. Here we go. Maybe. Oh, yeah. Black Hebrew Israelite says, by the way, thank you for dropping a deuce in the tip jar. You can do that at pdognight.live, by the way. Black Hebrew Israelite says, happy spreading monkeypox to your friends and Neighbors Month.
That's right.
Let's give the anti-human population control global overlords at the WHO, WEF, reasons to lock us down with a manufactured false flag. Brought to you by Butt Sex, aka that F word I'm not gonna say. That's right.
That's right.
Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelites, for sponsoring the show. You're fantastic. And I love me some sexy music day. Anyway, where was I? Now I've completely forgot where I was. I hope you enjoyed that. University students majoring in social sciences and humanity were found to be about 10% more, or 10 points more LGBT than those studying STEM, blah, blah, blah. According to the report, various surveys indicate that gender nonconformity, such as identifying as transgender or non-binary, is actually on the decline after reaching its peak in recent years, based on the rate of non-heterosexual behavior increasing at a substantially slower rate than non-heterosexual identification. The report concludes that socio-political factors likely explains most of the rise in LGBT identity. So the gap in that. So I'll have a copy of the survey or the study, and it's CSPI report number 6, which is linked here if you want to read the actual study itself. But that's how the Daily Caller has reported on the study. All right. Next up, a story from the Daily Wire talking about our dear friend Leah Thomas. Well, not necessarily Leah Thomas, but about women and trans women in sports. Now, it's funny because the other day I saw someone tweet something that trans women are biological women, jumping through a leap of logical twists. I mean, it was like, Olympic gymnast twists and turns to get to that conclusion. Basically, the argument is, well, yes, because trans women are biological women because they use certain drugs and blah, blah, blah to change their biology. So now that they are biological women, that's not what people are talking about. We're talking about physiologically, we're talking about the physiological aspects. And some people don't like saying that. That's one of the reasons I don't use the term biological woman. Even though I get what people are saying, I always say physiological women because no matter what you do, no matter how many hormones you take, you cannot change your natural physiology, your natural biology, your natural whatever. In the end, when you're dust, 1,000 years from now, someone's going to dig you up and find, oh, those hip bones, that's a woman. Oh, DNA, that's a woman. Oh, that was a woman. That was a female. So anyway, but in this article in the Daily Caller, and I've seen a couple places where this has happened, but even the New York Times admits biological men have a huge advantage over women in sports. Now, there was an article in the Daily Mail, but and Daily Mail can be somewhat of a tabloid type thing, but the New York Times, the this is how this article starts. It is indisputable that men have a biological advantage over women in sports. And now even the New York Times is admitting it. I'll link to that article, and it'll probably be an archived version. In an article over the weekend, interviewing numerous people involved in a debate about whether biological men should be allowed to compete against biological women, the Times included a section acknowledging the biological advantages men have over women. The Times included the information under a subhead title, quote, "The debate over science." Science! She blinded me with science. But the section offers little debate. Beginning in the womb, men are bathed in testosterone, and puberty accelerates that. Men, on average, have broader shoulders, bigger hands, longer torsos, and greater lung capacity and heart capacity. Muscles are denser, the Times acknowledged while speaking to Dr. Michael Joyner of the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. Joyner, who studies the physiology of male and female athletes, according to the Times, told the outlet that the testosterone surge men receive during puberty eliminates any advantage women had by growing faster than boys leading to puberty. Now, as someone who coaches or has coached, I've spent 35 years coaching basketball, I've seen that with my own eyes. Well, not the actual physiology part, the puberty, the testosterone, but I have seen how the track between boys and girl athletes suddenly takes a turn. It's around 10, 11 years old. All of a sudden, the boys are just faster, they're stronger, they're more agile, they're more coordinated, they do things that the girls just can't do anymore. And is it because the girls are worse or anything like that? No, just there's a change in the athleticism on average between the boys and the girls. There are a few exceptional girls who can keep up till about 12 or 13 years old. And then but by then the vast majority of the boys are just well beyond the girls as far as explosiveness, speed, strength, whatever. It's just, that's about the age, right? So you see the divergence immediately as the testosterone surges in the boys, Joyner told the Times. There are dramatic differences in performance. The Times then confirmed this information by noting that the records for elite adult male swimmers are on average 10% to 15% or 12% faster than the records of elite female swimmers. This is like, duh. We all know this. We've all done the comparisons. There's a great, I should open up, what is it? Boys versus girls, I think, or boys versus women. There's a Twitter account documenting this. Anyway, the reason is due to factors listed above: broader shoulders, denser muscles, bigger lung and heart capacity, etc. There are social aspects to sport, but physiology and biology underpin it, Joyner told the outlet. Testosterone is the 800-pound gorilla. The Times also pointed out that peer-reviewed studies show that even if men suppress their testosterone for a year per NCAA rules in order to compete against biological women, they still retain a substantial advantage. This is proven by the fact that biological men who enter women's sports substantially increase their rankings. For example, the Times noted that the University of Pennsylvania swimmer Leah Thomas, who competed as a biological man for years before identifying as a transgender woman and entering women's competitions, ranked 32nd in the men's 1,650-yard freestyle. Once Thomas started competing in women's competitions, the swimmer ranked 8th and won a race by a whopping 38 seconds. In the men's 200-yard freestyle, Thomas ranked 554th, but in 2022, competing against women, Thomas placed 5th in the NCAA championships. Thomas ranked 65th in the men's 500-yard freestyle. Competing against women, Thomas won the race. Leah Thomas is the manifestation of the scientific evidence, Dr. Ross Tucker, a sports physiologist, told the Times. The reduction in testosterone did not remove her biological advantage. Further, the Times noted that most scientists view performance differences between elite male and female athletes as near immutable, citing Israeli physicist Ira S. Hammerman, who in 2010 found the obvious. Women's world record times are 10% slower than the men's world record times. Even some transgender athletes acknowledged the unfair advantage. The Times noted Renee Richards, who played tennis as a man and ranked 13th in the men's 35 and older division before transitioning to a woman in 1975 at the age of 41. At age 43, Richards joined the Women's Pro Tour and was able to compete in the doubles final at Wimbledon. Richards retires at age 47, ranked 19th in the world. Richards admitted being biological male provided the advantage. Quote, I know if I had surgery at the age of 22 and then at 24 went on the tour, no genetic woman in the world would have been able to come close to me, Richard told Slate in 2012. I've reconsidered my opinion. So that's interesting that even Renee Richards, I remember when Renee Richards was playing in Wimbledon in the 70s, and that was a controversy then, and it's still a controversy now. Good morning, Jaeger Pony. Good morning, Joshua Montgomery. And good morning, what's her name? Nice to see y'all. All right. Let's see. I got a couple more, and I should take up the rest of my time here. Now, and here's, by the way, here is the article on Leah Thomas. Is this a free article? Oh, it's June 1st. I get a free article. Well, I'm not going to do this because not all of you. Here, let's just do this. Let me fix this real quick. Okay, it's already archived. So here's that New York Times article, and I'm curious. I want to hear the wording of this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm just curious how this is worded. What Leah Thomas could mean for elite women's sports. Although the number of top transgender athletes is small, the disagreements are profound, cutting to the core of the debate around gender identity and biological sex. How about oh my gosh, it's my Michael Powell, so I'm not having any. This is not promising. Let's see. The women. This is from May 29th, just a couple days ago. The women on the Princeton University swim team spoke of collective frustration, edging into anger. They had watched Leah Thomas, a transgender woman who swam for the University of Pennsylvania, win meet after meet, beating Olympians and breaking records. By the way, Leah Thomas wants to go into the Olympic trials. Hey, good boy. Good boy. I bet good God. But anyway, on January 9th, the team met with Robin Harris, executive director of the Ivy League Conference. Before I get to that, though, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. What did I say? It's Sexy Music Day. Black Hebrew Israelite says, by the way, thank you for dropping another deuce in the tip jar. A woman is an adult human female who poke holes in condoms, trying to trap a man with a baby to get a child support for 18 years.
That's right.
Maybe that's just bitches in the hood.
That's right.
Maybe biological women are overrated. That's right.
That's right.
Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for sponsoring the show. You are a great American. All right, so let's get back to this New York Times article. On January 9th, the team met with Robin Harris, executive director of the Ivy League Athletic Conference. The swimmers, several of whom described the private meeting on the condition of anonymity because they would get torn to shreds by the other people at their school because it's not cool to be transphobic. The swimmers, several of whom described the private meeting on condition of anonymity, detailed the biological advantages possessed by transgender female athletes. To ignore these, they said, was to undermine a half-a-century fight for female equity in sports, and they're 100% right. Ms. Harris had already declared her support for transgender athletes and denounced transphobia. In an interview, she said that she had replied that she would not change rules in mid-season. Somehow, a swimmer recalled, the question of women in sport had become a culture war. The battle over whether to let female transgender athletes compete in women's elite sports has reached an angry pitch in a collision of competing principles. The hard-fought for right of women to compete in high school, college, and pro sports versus a swelling movement to allow transgender athletes to compete in their chosen gender identities. Oh, that's interesting phrase. Their chosen gender identities. When you choose something, aren't there sometimes consequences of choosing something? We should just let people do whatever they want if they choose something? But that's probably a faux pas on the behalf of the editors of the New York Times. Anyway, although the number of transgender athletes on top teams is small, a precise count is elusive, as no major athletic association collects such data. Disagreements are profound. They center on science, fairness, and inclusiveness, and cut to the core of distinctions between gender identity, which is not real, and biological sex, which is real. Those little asides are my own. Echoes of those debates ripple outward from pools to weightlifting rooms to tracks to cycling courses to rugby pitches and to the Olympics, where officials face a fateful decision on how wide to open the door to transgender women. Sebastian Coe, the Olympic champion runner and head of the World Athletics, which governs international track, speaks of biological difference as inescapable. Gender, he said recently, cannot trump biology. Oh, he made the mistake of saying the word Trump. Hello, Eldritch Catastrophe. Good morning. The American Civil Liberties Union, which is no longer has anything to do with civil liberties. It just has to do with left-wing politics. Although occasionally they get something right, but it's pretty rare. The American Civil Liberties Union offers a counterpoint. It's not a woman's sport if it does not include all women athletes. The group tweeted, Leah Thomas belongs on the Penn swimming and diving team. Okay, ACLU. You can fuck right off. The rancor stifles dialogue. At meets, Ms. Thomas has been met with stony silence and muffled boos. College female athletes who speak of frustration and competitive disadvantage are labeled by some trans activists as transphobes and bigots, and are reluctant to talk for fear of being attacked because they get savaged if they even mention it. Ms. Thomas herself has chosen silence. Really? When has Leah Thomas chosen silence? Oh, but there is that article where Leah Thomas finally speaks out. Well, yeah, she speaks out and says that, she feels better about herself, so she should deserve to compete. Well, whatever. Thank you, Tyre Alexander. Oh, wait a minute. I know. Tyre Alexander. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Tyre Alexander drops a small bullet in the tip jar and says, if you can't tell me what a woman is, that must also mean you can tell me what a man is. Thus, you can't tell me I'm mansplaining, because you can't. Under your logic, tell me I'm a man without making yourself either a liar or a hypocrite or stupid or all three. Thank you, Tyler Alexander, for sponsoring the show. That was a beautiful sentiment. Okay, enough of that shit. Let's see here. So, Leah Thomas has chosen silence. In March, after winning the 500-yard freestyle in the NCAA Women's Championships in Atlanta, she skipped a news conference. She has of late spoken only to Sports Illustrated, who's right now a friendly outlet, saying, "I am not a man. I am a woman, so I belong on the women's team." They could fix this with one change of language. The NCAA and women's sports could change it with one change of language. Male and female. Fine. We'll call it the female division, not the women's division, the female division. And the male division, not the men's division, but the male division. Fixed. But here it is. Even nomenclature is contentious. Descriptive phrases such as biological woman and biological man might be seen as central to discussing differences in performance. Many trans rights activists say such expressions are transphobic. Really? And insist biology and gender identity are largely social constructs. Hold up. Biology, which physiology is a subset of biology, is not a social construct, though. That's just it. It's not a social construct. Now, you might say if the current gender ideology is certainly a social construct. And guess what? If it's a social construct, then it's not real. That's what you're saying. If you're saying that biology and gender identity are social constructs, are you saying they're not real? That you're just making up something as you go along? Okay, well, aren't you still doing that by saying that there's a that you can just change your gender at will because you feel like it, because you have a subjective reason? If it's a social construct, it's a social construct either way. So let's go to the objective. Let's go to the physiology. Okay? Anyway, some trans activists try to silence critics whom they derisively called TERFs, which stand for trans exclusionary radical feminists. There's interesting because there's an interesting kind of groundswell. It's not just the TERFs, and some TERFs are beginning to. It was originally a derisive term. It was originally an insult, but there's some who are starting to embrace it because some of this shit has just gone too far. And it's interesting because there's an interesting. I don't necessarily say a coalition, but a meeting of the minds between some of the radical feminists who are trans exclusionary and some people on the right are like, we agree with you that this is kind of fucked up as far as women's rights. So it's funny because I'm starting to agree with them on some things, but also the problem is too, I don't think that some of the feminists realize that some of this can be a little bit their fault for talking about gender as far as gender roles, and because gender roles are not set in stone, right? Just people do, and that's why I say it's okay if you're a lesbian and you live this lifestyle. I don't care. It's not my ideal for me. But, or if you want to have a different role, you don't want to have a traditional family or this and that, and you know this isn't working, this and that. But you've pounded this whole patriarchy thing into kids, and pounding it into them younger and younger and younger, and they don't want to be a part of that. You're seeing a lot of young girls are saying, "Oh, well, I just don't want to be a girl because I don't want to deal with this patriarchy. So maybe I'm just non-binary. That would take me away from the patriarchy. Or maybe I'm trans, so I'm not. I don't have to deal with this. You know, the oppression that I'm going to have." If you pound that into kids' heads too, that also is going to make people want to be something else. Or when you're telling young boys that, you know, being the stereotypical roles of boys are being strong and this and that, and maybe they're not. Maybe they are have what we consider a feminist edge to them. So now you're saying to them, well, maybe you're a girl, because that would you don't want to be part of that trend, that role, the you know, the gender role. Okay, so part of it comes out of the feminist movement, but feminists are starting to say, hey, whoa, we don't want these penises in our locker rooms. Well, I agree with you, feminists, on that. And so even though I am on the conservative spectrum politically and socially for the most part, I'm finding myself having conversations with radical feminists, or not even necessarily radical feminists, just people. There are a lot of people who have this mindset, and from all political perspectives going, hey, this is wrong. What we're doing to children is wrong. Pushing this ideology on children is wrong. And I think it's, hopefully, I hope it catches on. And so and plus I don't mind having common ground with people that I don't necessarily jibe with politically on other things. It's good to have common ground with people because you realize the humanity of other people. So hopefully I want that trend to grow too, because they're going to start seeing people maybe be able to live around each other better too. But anyway, a spokeswoman for the gay rights group urged the reporter not to platform, that is not to quote, those she said held objectionable views. Don't platform those who she said hold objectionable views, including Martina Navratilova, the retired tennis legend, a champion of liberal and lesbian causes. Ms. Navratilova argues that transgender female athletes possess insurmountable biological advantages. Quote, so I'm a TERF. Okay, that's the way you want to go, Ms. Navratilova said in response. I played against taller women. I played against stronger women. I beat them all. But if I faced a male equivalent of Leah in tennis, that's biology. I would have had no shot, and I would have been livid. Good for Martina Navratilova. And she's not backing down on this either. They're trying to, make her to TERF Central. Former allies are split so bitterly as to make reconciliation a distant prospect. Half of Ms. Thomas's University of Pennsylvania team sent a letter to the school released by a lawyer saying the swimmer had an unfair advantage. Brooke Ford, an Olympic silver medalist with Stanford, however, supported Ms. Thomas. Social change is always slow and a difficult process, and we rarely get it correct right something anyway, she stated. Well, enjoy not qualifying for anything in the near future. Griffin Maxwell Brooks, a trans non-binary diver at Princeton, see, this is the how the muddling of terms too. A trans non-binary diver. A trans non-binary diver. Let it sink in. At Princeton, who competes on the men's team, released a TikTok video accusing cisgender women of leveraging misogyny to perpetuate transphobia. So now cisgender women are misogynist because they don't agree that physiological males should be able to compete against them. Not long afterward, a Princeton eating club barred a female swimmer from joining. A Princeton eating club? Is that like something Foodie Beauty would join? Never mind. Not a Princeton eating club barred a female swimmer from joining, saying her transphobia might bring disrepute, according to a Princeton swimmer. Finally, inescapably, American hyperpartisan politics has electrified this debate. Librarians have been told to remove books with transgender themes from shelves. Oh my God. I think she's talking about Florida. You mean the ones in elementary schools that have depictions of people having sex? Like graphic. Oh my God. Anyway, and Republican-dominated legislatures in 18 states have introduced restrictions on transgender participation in public school sports in recent years, according to data from the Human Rights Campaign and LGBTQ advocacy group. A few Republican leaders resisted crackdowns. Governor Spencer Cox of Utah vetoed a ban on transgender girls competing in girls' sports. The legislature overrode the veto. Well, good for them. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott demanded agencies investigate parents and doctors who assist children in transitioning. Can we study it a little bit first? Which he termed child abuse. In Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis said he would reject lies and refuse to recognize Ms. Thomas as the winner of the 500-yard freestyle championship. Governor DeSantis' declaration carried no legal power, but it underlined that a difficult conversation is near lost to the shouting. Then it goes in the debate over science, talks about what we talked about with Dr. Joyner at Rochester Clinic. Anyway, we'll get you can read the rest of the article later, but I just it's wild. It is wild. All right, my last two articles here that I didn't get on the screen yet. Here we go. Here's one of them. Cardinal Burke calls for the removal of German bishops teaching heresy on homosexuality and female priests. Cardinal Raymond Leo Burke, an American, called on Pope Francis to remove the German bishops who are trying to change church teaching on homosexual behavior, on women priests, and on celibacy of priests. This is some Catholic Church shit that they need to work out themselves. The German bishops act as if God did not exist, said the cardinal, a former judge at the Vatican's highest court. For instance, the teaching of homosexual acts is in the scriptures and in the constant tradition of the church. To hold what they are saying is heretical. He said they're leading people into heresy to their great harm. The Pope has challenged these bishops and asked them to renounce these heresies, even the positions that run counter to the church discipline, Burke said in a May 11th interview at Catholic Action for Faith and Family. So apparently the German bishops, here it is, the German bishops are trying to change 2,000 years of church teachings based on scripture and tradition and are abandoning the flock, said Burke. They are showing themselves to be not shepherds, but hirelings who are trying to accommodate the church's teachings to the ways of the world, the secular way of thinking, a godless way of thinking. So I'm not sure what the German bishops were doing specifically. Oh, here we go. On January 24th, the German Bishops' Conference issued a statement praising the LGBT Out in Church campaign. Bishop Helmut Dieser of Aachen, Germany, said he welcomed the LGBT campaign on behalf of the German Bishops' Conference as a sign we are working so that this climate of fearlessness can and must be developed in the church. So I get it. So they're okay. So and Bishop Burke's a little pissed about that. You can check that out if you're Catholic. Otherwise, you probably don't care. Now we'll finish up with a couple items that just cracked me up. One, Taco Bell. Now let's see if you can figure this one out. Taco Bell, and I almost showed the title. I'm going to read the article and then you can figure it out. Taco Bell is hoping that attention-deprived, lip-syncing chicks starts with a D and rhymes with chicks will help you get that breakfast burrito down. The Taco Bell Drag Bunch show is hitting the road and delivering taped wieners and gyrating man hips to a Taco Bell cantina. They have booze location near you. If you live in Chicago, Nashville, Fort Lauderdale, Las Vegas, New York City through the months of May and June. Audience members hoping to watch needy men shake their chili cheese burritos will have to be 18 years old to enter. Members of Taco Bell's reward group, Fire Tier, will have a first crack at the chance for tickets. Here's the dates and locations in case you don't want to see the drag queens wiggle their cheesy roll-ups as you force down your culturally appropriate Taco Supreme. There's the dates there. One of the lead dancers is Quesadilla. Get it? Quesadilla. He'll be keeping it unreal at all the events, and local drag queens will join the testicle spectacle at each location. God, here's the press release from Taco Bell. As a brand that brings people together, the Taco Bell Drag Bunch experience is rooted in celebrating LGBTQI plus AI something community and creating safe and welcome spaces for all. To further its mission to break down the barriers to education, the Taco Bell Foundation is supporting the It Gets Better project with a grant to expand workforce readiness and resources for LGBTQIA plus youth around the globe. Each drag bunch will have a dedicated time spotlighting the It Gets Better project and provide attendees with information on how they can get involved. According to the same press release, Joe Biden, Obama, and Hillary support the It Gets Better project and purportedly the Not So Mucho Macho Nacho drag show. Enjoy your chalupa. So Taco Bell's going to have drag shows at specified locations. Thank God. I'm so happy. And finally, one of my favorite people, it is Jussie Wednesday, and I haven't had a Jussie report lately. Let me try that again. It is Jussie Wednesday, and I have not had a Jussie update in quite a while. Well, there is a Jussie update. Apparently, as predicted, did I just freeze? As predicted, Jussie Smollett, his career has not been hurt at all by his own bullshit. Yes, no apologies, nothing, not even in a court of law where it matters most. So how did cancel culture treat Jussie Smollett? It let him share his directorial debut on a prominent streaming platform. BET Plus has picked up B-Boy Blues, which will debut on the streaming platform on June 9th in time for Pride Month. As a part of the pickup, Mona Scott Young and her Monami Entertainment has joined the film as a producer and was instrumental in getting the deal done with BET Plus. Smollett co-wrote and directed the indie film last year. The LGBTQ drama stars Timothy Richardson, Brandy Evans, Heather B., Marquise Wilson, and Thomas Mackie. When canceled artists like Louis C.K. and Morgan Fallon found work long after their initial punishments, the press howled in protest. Not this time, though. Smollett's big lie captivated the public for a month. It also sent Chicago police on a wild goose chase, expending time and resources better suited for solving actual crimes. How many lives were impacted in the process? Is there any doubt Smollett's career will perk up following the film's debut June 9th? Or that he'll be working again faster than Barr, a feminist pioneer who changed the face of TV but got punished for a tweet that injured no one. We're talking about Roseanne Barr there. The article is about how Roseanne Barr can't get back in the favor of the entertainment industry, but Jussie's back already. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. I want to thank you for being here at the Morning Night Live, where I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button because I know you like me. You really, really like me. And what's this? Oh, that's another story. Let's see, make sure I get the right ones here. So, as you know, at the end of the show, during the outro, I will be putting all these articles that we saw. They're in the tabs over there because that's where my computer is. All the links to the tweets and articles will be in the description down below. I will update that during the outro. It's a single link that'll take you to a page with all the links. And thanks for our sponsors today, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
And Tyre Alexander, Black Hebrew Israelite. You are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. So thanks, everybody. It is time for me to go. Thanks for everyone who's participating in the chat and who hung around till now. You're a trooper, I gotta tell you. I'll be back tomorrow. See you then. My name is P Dog Night, and I'm out of here. Bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Night, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Night, and I'm out of here.